Welcome to Property People, the show for anyone with a passion or interest in property. From design, build, purchase, sale, and everything in between, this show is for you. I'm your host, Andrew Rhatigan, and I'm the director of Rhatigan Real Estate, an agency that helps clients buy and sell property in Ireland over €500,000. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back to the third episode in our series where we're talking with Darragh Lynch of Darragh Lynch Architects. He's based in North Dublin. You're very welcome back.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Good to be here.
He's part of the furniture at this stage. I might have to start charging him rent. But today we're going to have a bit of fun. It's going to be a quick fire episode. We're going to try and keep it below 10 minutes. So if we go above it, this video will probably self-destruct. So we're going to get to it. So question one. Are the interiors often forgotten about at the initial design stages of design?
Probably not. In fact, most of the time, people are more focused on the interiors, the kind of sofa they want or the kind of curtains they want, and they forget about the window they have to make in the first place.
Yeah.
So some people are overly focused on the space and don't consider the interiors, and other people have it the other way around. But it's really important to get a balance between the two because they reinforce each other.
Yeah, and one can't exist without the other.
Exactly, yeah.
Great. And question two to keep things moving. So tell me about the role of it, interiors. I mean, you once used the fabulous analogy of car design, and I think people would love to hear about that.
Yeah, so I saw a thing about car design where the first thing they design is the shape of the car, the form of the car. Mm-hmm. And once they get that right, and in a architectural analogy, that would be trying to get the flow of the rooms in the right space and the volume of the rooms in the right place. The next thing they do in car design is they model the profiles of all the indents of the doors and the bumpers and the bonnet and all that kind of stuff. So that would be to do with how you're making it and how you're fitting out and finishing the walls and the floors and the ceiling, where the windows are and all those kind of things. And then the last piece of car design is the trim. So it's the little highlighted stainless steel fillet above the window or on the bumper or on the handle and all those kind of things. And from an architectural point of view, that would be all the little things you touch, the door handle, the skirtings, the architraves around the doors, all those kind of little highlights, and then what people bring to the space. So people are going to bring their photos and their books and their trophies and their football jerseys or whatever they have, and that's going to embellish the room, and it's going to make it theirs. And you really want to emphasize and support all of that so that it's really singing about the person, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and I think for anyone who's watching and is a fan of cars and they like their car analogies, I think that makes absolutely amazing sense in most things that people probably don't think of. So moving swiftly along, so what input should the interiors have at the initial design stage? Well,
first of all, you need that compelling organizational idea. I kind of spoke about that in the first
you did
video.
For those who haven't heard, what would that be? Just give a quick overview.
Yeah, so it's the flow between the different spaces. So you have a space for cooking, you have a space for eating, you have a space for sitting and relaxing, you have a space for the TV, and you might have a space for working. You need the connection between all of those to flow. You need the connection with those spaces to the outside to flow, and you need those spaces relating to the light, so they get the right quality of light for the use in each room. So that's the kind of overall organizational idea. And when you get that right, and then you have a kind of three-dimensional expression of that, well, now you start to have to think about what material is going to go on the outside of the wall, what material is going to go on the inside of the wall, what floor finish do we need to make sure that the connection from inside to outside is as seamless as possible, if that's what we want to create. But if we want to create a cave and that's insulated from the outside, then you have to think of a different kind of material. So it's about reinforcing. It's a kind of like the modeling of the car analogy. After the initial organizational idea, now you start thinking about where the light falls on the wall. If I have timber slats on that wall, wouldn't it be great to have a roof light above, so when the light comes in, you create all this shadow play with the wall. I mean, you start trying to build up layers of texture, colour, material that reinforce the organizational idea of the house.
But that basic homework at the beginning informs the rest of it, so it kind of forms part of the fabric and then how you proceed, which a lot of people probably don't think of.
And also you want the walls to reflect the personality and the desires and likes and tastes of the people in the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
So some people want molded walls and paneling and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're going to do that, do proper paneling. Really do it right, you know. Don't just paint it on, you know.
Yeah.
If you're going to go for funky colours, go for it. Really go for it. Yeah.
And the basic overview of the organisational structure to it informs everything and allows you to really go hell for leather and enjoy it and commit to it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot to be said for that. And aside from design, you know, you consult with clients on materials and finishings and things like that. You know, tell me a little bit about what kind of role that will play.
So, like the house should reflect the personality of the client. So the client, I need to understand what that is. Is it paneling, or is it funky colours, or is it particular materials that they like? There might be a treasured Manchester United signed shirt that needs to go in a place of honour or something.
We've just lost everyone except Manchester United supporters there.
So you need to know about these things. Do they like books? You know, how are we going to express or display the books in the room? Do they have Waterford glass that they want? You know, all of these things are important to people. They collect them. They want to be surrounded by these things. So you have to make a place for these things so that the people feel comfortable. People feel like it's their house and not just anybody's house.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine. Yeah, and also probably the covert versus the overt. So someone might have that treasured piece of silverware, but they can't bear to see it on the wall. So they say, but I need to have somewhere to put it so you know it's there. Exactly. And you have to take that into account. It's a very personalised element. We're making good time. I don't think we're going to self-destruct yet. So on to our fifth question. So in terms of percentage of process, like looking towards kind of what I think you can't put a budget on what people are going to spend, but when you're looking at the kind of general cost of when you're putting or addressing interiors in a property versus the unique or bespoke one-off ideas, what kind of is a general theme that you see, or what kind of guidance or would you put on something like that?
Yeah, so you want to invest in things that are going to have a big impact, that things are meaningful and significant. So like I did a house for someone who was a big double height, big living room, and there was a stairway going up the side of it, and we designed this chandelier that kind of you almost walked through the chandelier as you went up the stairs.
Wow.
We made it out of really simple light fittings, but there was lots of them, and it cost a little bit of money to do, but the impact of it was amazing. I mean, it's a beautiful piece, and it makes the room, and when you come into the room and you turn on the light, everyone goes, oh my god, it's amazing. And it's worth investing in those things that are meaningful and significant. And again, it's like committing to the idea. It's worth going the extra mile on something that's really going to be a feature and make. But I mean, there's always a way of going to IKEA and getting something. There's
always a workaround. Yeah,
Course,
exactly. But I think the basics of when you look at it are that people probably spend money on things they don't realise, and then they could have spent it on something that would have had a far bigger impact. Yeah. But that's also what makes it bespoke. Yeah. And actually, as someone who's not an architect, I would have never realised that an architect would have taken that level of care to try and create a bespoke light for someone. So that's really interesting to see that that's kind of part of what you do.
And it's also the things you touch, and so the taps and the door handles. Buy a cheap door, buy a decent door handle. Yeah. You don't touch the door, you touch the door handle.
Wow, that's an interesting one. You're hearing it all. The IKEA will be out the door with lots of stuff, and then knobs and knockers will be selling out as well on the other side.
We've got 2 minutes to go.
Oh, we're doing well. 2 minutes to go, we're doing well. Okay, so our last question with 2 minutes to go is, what would be one piece of advice when it comes to interiors?
So I would encourage people to have a kind of mood board. Collect images of things that really resonate with you. If you find a picture in a magazine or a newspaper or online, Pinterest is a great resource. Put in a search, and there's thousands of photos there. That it's a really good way of sorting through images. Or if you search on Google and hit images, you'll just get the images for that subject. And the picture paints 1,000 words. So find things or elements in photos that you really like. It's a really great way of explaining what you want to try to achieve in the process. And you need to communicate that to your design team.
And also by seeing designs day in, day out, someone bringing you something visual can give you an idea of where their head is at as well, where you're kind of going, I'm seeing a common theme of Alcedon and certain panelled walls. Maybe this person likes Alcedon and panelled walls, and then you can kind of cater it accordingly. Well, it looks like we're in nice time this week. Any other questions, if anyone has, don't hesitate to touch base with either of us. You have Darragh Lynch of Darragh Lynch Architects and Andrew Rhatigan from Rhatigan Real Estate. Join us next time, where we'll hopefully drive a bit more value and answer as many questions as we can without turning off anyone who doesn't support Man United. Have a good day, everybody.
That's it for another show. If you have any comments, questions, or want to get in touch, I would love to hear from you. If you like what you hear, please feel free to share with colleagues, family, and friends. Until next time, I have been your host, Andrew Rhatigan, and you have been listening to Property People.